This week on the 302, we hook up with Cape Water Tours in Lewis and hit the open water to learn about dolphins. Get ready, 302, the fin is up. What better way to enjoy the warmer weather than to get out on the water? We are here talking with Dave Green from Cape Water Tours. Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So let's talk about, you have so many different tours that you put on throughout the year. Talk to me about what you guys offer.
Well, this is one of our bigger tours of dolphin watching. People really enjoy that because we're out here on the open bay. We also do evening cruises, eco tours, cruise the canal, history tours, and private charters.
So how did you get into this business? I mean, this is like, you know, so just amazing and free, but yet so informational at the same time.
Yeah, it was kind of by accident. I actually came into this business from the real estate business and construction, and I've always been an avid boater, loved being on the water, and I decided back in 2011 to get my captain's license. And the idea kind of started from a chance meeting with Sam Calzone from Dogfish Head, who's a good buddy of mine, and they were talking about doing a water taxi between Lewis and Rehoboth. And he's like, do you have any interest in doing that? I was like, I don't know anything about it, but I'll research it. And I literally found the perfect boat the next day on Craigslist, and I bought it 2 days later and haven't looked back since. We started in 2012, the spring of 2012.
But you guys take it a step further with the history tours and things like that. What kind of history can people learn about whenever they're on board?
Yeah, we cover quite a bit of maritime history on the lighthouse tour, about the area and the first settlers here. We actually go into the East End Lighthouse and talk quite a bit about that. We also partner with the Lewis Historical Society on multiple different cruises where they'll actually put their head interpreter on board, and he'll go into great depths of the history, the maritime history and history of Lewis.
So it must be a lot of research that you go through and a lot of coordination. What does it take to pull off a history tour or a dolphin tour for that matter?
Well, the dolphin tour is kind of one on its own. Our whole company actually went through a program known as Whale Sense, and it's sponsored by NOAA and the federal government. And what it teaches us the basics about marine mammals and whales, seals, turtles, but it really gets into a lot of detail on how to safely view these animals without disrupting their normal feeding habits and putting any unnecessary stress on them. So that's where we put a lot of time and effort into that, because we want to be respectful of these animals and the environment. As far as the history goes, I've been pretty lucky. Marco Salveria, the head interpreter, Marco's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine, and he's been able to coach me over the years with a lot of the history. And I've done a lot of reading on my own. I'm kind of an amateur history buff and really enjoy the history, especially this area.
So we're going to do the dolphin tour today. So for folks that are waiting on the dock to come out and join us, what kinds of things are we going to see today? What kinds of things are we going to experience?
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to find some dolphins. It is a little choppy today, and they're a little bit harder to spot, but usually we can pick up on them pretty quick, hopefully. We'll also see a lot of the shorebirds in the area, nesting ospreys whose little babies are getting probably another 3 or 4 weeks will be fledging. And the East End Lighthouse, the point of Cape Henlopen State Park, and most likely we'll end up out in the Atlantic Ocean is my goal this morning.
So it's a really good opportunity to see something we wouldn't normally see if we were, standing on the beach or the shore. That's
correct, yeah. Actually, you can get pretty lucky around here and spot dolphins from the shore, but not as close up as we're able to get to them. And you just never know what you're going to run into out there. Well, one of our trips last year, it was my first mate, who's actually my daughter Leah. We were able to witness a whale, a finback whale, Unfortunately, the whale had become stranded, and then it freed itself, but then stranded again, and ultimately ended up perishing on the beach. But you just never know what you're going to run into out here.
Now, as part of your training, when you see something like that, do you contact the wildlife or the sea life officials?
Yeah, actually, we have a direct line to the whale sense folks, and we report directly to them. In the event of an entanglement, we do our best. We're instructed to try to stay as close to the animal as possible until somebody can get there to try to help the animal. You know, somebody that has that kind of experience. And we're very closely connected to the MARE, which is the Marine Mammal Stranding and Education office here in Lewis. So we have a direct line to them. And we communicate with them pretty regularly on any strandings that we see.
So in addition to being an educator, you're also part of the conservation effort.
We try to be. Yeah, we try to do the best that we can.
How does that feel? I mean, to...
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you know, that's our whole thing. And that's part of being, a member of Whale Sense, is that we also have a stewardship project that we're required to do to be in that program, and there's only maybe 15 or 16 companies in the entire country that are members of that. So it's pretty awesome to be able to kind of be somewhat of guardians or lookouts for the environment around here.
Absolutely.
It's such a beautiful area.
I bet. It's the perk of the job, I would imagine.
It's awesome.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about your boat.
Okay, the Discovery is a custom-built, one-of-a-kind vessel. She was actually built in Lake Havasu, and she was purpose-built for beaching on Assateague Island. She spent the first 5 years of her career pulling up onto Assateague Island for eco tours and pony viewing tours, and she ended up coming into our possession in 2013, and we pretty much stripped her down to bare metal and redid everything on her, new engines, electronic seats, everything, and she's our workhorse. The best boat in the fleet.
Well, excellent. Yeah. We're looking forward to climbing on board. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Nataki Oliver, gallerist of the Soul From Art Gallery. Here in the 302, we believe artists deserve red roses and red dots.
So we are now on the boat, and we are seeing some amazing sights. A lot of dolphins swimming on both sides. I'm joined by Leah Green, who is our guide. Leah, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
So what kind of dolphin are we seeing on the side here?
We are currently looking at the coastal Atlantic bottlenose dolphin species, resident to the Delaware Bay here.
Now it's really cool. You see them jump up out of the water and swim, and they have to come up to the surface, right? Yes. Every once in a while?
Yep, every few minutes to breathe air.
And they have a lot of really unique features to them that you may not realize. Like, they have names for each other?
Yeah, they all have a set of clicks, squeaks, and high-pitched sounds that are each individual's dolphin's name.
Mm-hmm. And who gives them that name?
The mother names the baby as soon as the baby's born. It calls out that name, and the whole pod then knows the baby's name.
That's amazing. So they can like talk to each other.
Oh yeah, they talk a lot. They communicate through clicks, squeaks, any type of movement that they make that is a form of communication.
And they have a unique way of finding out where an object is located in the water. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, they use echolocation, so they make a sound and they listen very carefully, and they almost feel the sound bounce off of that object, and then they can perceive what is in front of them.
Mm-hmm. Now, how big do these dolphins get?
They get up to about 500, 600 pounds in this area, about 13 feet long.
Wow, you wouldn't imagine that when you see them. They're so graceful as they glide through the water.
Yeah, they look a lot bigger in person. We get a really good view of them close up, so you can really see the great size of them.
And they can go pretty fast, right?
Oh yeah, really fast, about 18 miles per hour.
Now, you guys have been doing this for a little while. Have you had some experience that just really sticks with you?
I would say one time we were in the bay, actually right around this area where we currently are now, and we saw in the distance something really large in the water that definitely was way too big to be a dolphin. We got close and we realized it was actually a whale. It was a fin whale hanging out here, and the coolest part was there was a pod of dolphins surrounding it, and the dolphin were actually trying to help it unbeach itself and trying to guide it out. They were brushing up, pushing up against the whale, and it actually was really successful to getting the whale out of the bay back into the ocean.
No, dolphins are actually whales themselves, right?
Yeah, they are a subspecies of whale. They're slightly related to them.
Mm-hmm. They're really smart. I mean, right?
They're so intelligent. They're emotional. They care for each other. They're, I would say, almost as smart, if not smarter than humans.
Yeah. What would you say is the most surprising thing about dolphins?
The most surprising thing is that they really just love each other. They care for each other. They mourn. They just love the whole family. They're super like family oriented, and they protect each other.
So they're much more than, someone might look at them and go, oh, it's a really big fish. They're a very smart, emotional animal.
Yeah.
And very savvy in terms of...
Exactly. They know what's up. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
They know each other. They have really great relationships with each other.
So how do they hunt for the food, and what do they eat?
They eat local fish in the area, really anything that they can find that's live, but mainly a fish called menhaden. They like to eat squids, crustaceans, crabs, pufferfish. And they hunt through echolocation. They like to confuse the fish using bubbles, movements, stunning with their fins. And they hunt as a group. They use teamwork.
So if you're lucky on this tour, and hopefully we will be lucky, you see them jump out of the water. What are they doing when they do that?
They're either doing it for fun, really. That's another cool thing to know about them. They like to do things for fun. They're either jumping up so they can get out of the water and slap down, scratch and itch, or most importantly, for survival, they stun the fish with their whole bodies.
That's amazing. Can you imagine?
Exactly. Instant death.
So you mentioned maybe they have an itch or something. That they have, well, they don't have hands, they do have bones in their fins, right?
Yeah, they have bones in their pectoral fins that actually comes from when they were land animals before and evolved into sea animals. So they still have those almost finger bones in their pectoral fins on the side.
Yeah. So what is the biggest threat to dolphins in terms of predators and other dangers to dolphins?
Statistically, we are the biggest threat to dolphin. In a lot of other countries, it used to happen here, dolphins were fished, but now people in this area hurt the dolphins without even realizing it through pollution. You know, our trash ends up in the ocean, it hurts them, it hurts their food.
Yeah. So as far as a predator, do they have a predator other than humans? Is there another? No?
Not really. They're really smart. If a dolphin was one-on-one with a shark would probably win, but since, like I said before, the dolphin all stay together, they protect each other, they're going to win a fight against a shark, while as the shark is all by itself.
Yeah.
Has no one to protect it.
Because they have beaks, and they use their beaks to defend themselves.
They can nose punch a shark right in the side, right in the gills.
And that would be bad for the shark, obviously.
No, it wouldn't end up great for the shark. Dolphin would win that fight.
So this must be just the greatest job for you.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, what you do every day and how great it must be.
So, I mean, we come out here about on average of like 6 to 8 times a day. Me personally, maybe more like 4 or 5. We do dolphin watching tours. We tour in the East End Lighthouse. We do evening cruises, dinner cruises, music cruises. I just really like being out here, getting to talk to people about anything that they see, and most importantly, trying to educate them and trying to make a difference so people will understand how that everything that they do affects what we see out here. We affect nature, we affect the dolphin, we have an impact on their lives.
Excellent. Well, Leah, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to sit back down so we can enjoy the rest of the tour, and we'll be right back.
I'm Alexandra Deutsch, Director of Collections at Winterthur, and I love the arts on the 302.
Welcome back. We have now moved up to the front of the boat to talk to the captain. Dave, this is amazing. We are having a great time.
Me too.
So in addition to talking about dolphins, you also talk about a lot of the local history, and you just told the passengers a little bit about why this beach over here isn't filled with people.
Yeah, this is actually the point of Cape Henlopen, and it's part of Cape Henlopen State Park. They actually closed this section of park off early spring until approximately Labor Day to protect the nesting shorebirds in the area.
Really is a beautiful, beautiful area, that's for sure. So I noticed that when you get to a certain distance, you put everything in neutral. Why do you do that?
That's correct. It's actually a federal law, but it's part of our training through whale sense, and we're just trying to let these animals be for the most part, and protect them to the best of our abilities.
So we've passed a couple of lighthouses. Can you tell us a little? Are they still operating lighthouses, or?
Sure. Yeah. The first one we passed, the red lighthouse, was the East End Lighthouse. That lighthouse was actually officially decommissioned in 1996. Prior to that, it stood guard on that point from 1885 until 1996. It was replaced in the early 1920s by the Harbor Refuge, which is the black and white lighthouse, and that one actually is still in operation today.
I'm just watching all the dolphins kind of skip up and everything. So this has got to be the coolest job for you.
It's amazing. This has been my dream since I was a little kid, to work on a boat, and now I get to do it. It's just absolutely incredible.
Definitely, and you learn so much, I guess, in the process, right?
Yeah, I've learned a ton of stuff about the history and about the marine life here, just primarily through our associations with other organizations and businesses like Lewis Historical Society and MARE.
Have you had passengers say anything that surprises you after they go on the tour and they see all the dolphins and they learn about just the incredible, beings that dolphins are? I mean, has anything surprised you?
Nothing surprising, really. I mean, because I'm as excited as they are, so usually they're just bubbling when we get back to the dock, as am I, because it's just such a privilege to be out here. And the coolest thing is when the younger people and the kids, first time ever seeing a dolphin, because a lot of the people that come to visit this area are not accustomed to being out on the water. They're from the cities and the suburbs and the interior parts of the states around us. First time seeing dolphins is pretty amazing.
So right now we're going out to an area that you called the washing machine. What is that?
That's kind of an unofficial nickname that we've given it, this area here. It's where the bay and ocean meet, and it can get a little nasty out here from time to time. It's actually pretty nice out here today.
So whenever we get out to the point of demarcation, is that prime dolphin area?
It can be on certain tides and certain times of the year, but the great thing about Delaware Bay and this area is there's dolphin pretty much everywhere. But you do have a better chance of seeing larger marine mammals out past the line of demarcation.
So at any given day, how many times do you go out?
It varies, but we usually run 6 to 8 trips a day, of which 3, sometimes 4 are dolphin trips.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever do like sunset cruises?
We do. Yes, we're out for that 7 days a week, and we actually have a couple different variations of that trip where most of them end up coming out to this area here by the lighthouses. But we also do a little bit of inland sunset trips. We have a cruise the canal sunset, and we also have a trip we call Best of Both Worlds, where we go about 2 or 3 miles up the Broadkill River and then ultimately end up back out here for sunset.
So did you always know how to navigate a boat like this, or is this part of the on-the-job training kind of thing?
I grew up on a boat. My father owned a boat from as long back as I can remember, and I actually owned my own boat at the age of 13.
Yeah.
So I've spent most of my life on a boat other than the few years I lived out in Colorado, and I actually owned a boat out there too.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be some folks at home that are going to be like, I have a boat, I could totally do this. Is this similar to, a recreational,
A little bit different. Than the fact, that we have passengers on board and it's a much bigger vessel, a little bit more responsibility involved, but it's primarily.
But the actual operation of it.
Pretty similar, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Nice. So if anybody has any ideas out there.
Yeah, hey, go for it.
They can hang up their corporate job and come and live their dream like you're doing.
Come on down. We always need captains.
Absolutely. Well, you heard it here, folks. Dave, thank you so much for taking us on this tour. We really have enjoyed ourselves. And we learned a lot about dolphins, to boot.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
We'll be right back. For more information on the dolphin tours or any of the tours, you can visit capewatertours.com. That'll do it for this week's episode of the 302. We are going to leave you with more shots of dolphins having a good time in the water. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. Tell them you saw it on the 302.